Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a previous video regarding the bank reconciliation automation and the payment file export using AMC bank data conversion service. So in this video, I just want to share something for setting up the EFT for your payment journal, in your payment journal for your Wonder payment. Okay, so the basic setup, let's start with the Wonder card. So on the Wonder card, you have to set up your bank accounts. And under the bank accounts, you have to select a bank account to use, the Wonder bank account to use, and make sure you have the use for electronic payments checkbox checked on the Wonder card. Okay, and you need to have the Wonder address information and Wonder bank address information, phone number, bank branch number, bank account number, all set up on the under the Wonder bank account. So that's the Wonder bank account setup. And also for your bank account, then you have to set up your bank account information. So here we take the example of WWB operating this bank account. So under the transfer tab, you have to set up the country export format, and you have to set up the payment export format. And in order to do that, you may need to set up a data conversion service and find out the bank statement layout that your bank accepts. And then you have to set up the bank data conversion service for that. So you could see I have the data exchange definition code here. So I'm just taking the default as an example here. So that's find out for the data conversion service of that one. So right now it's just a demo. It's just a demo file for the Canadian EFT default. So you have to set up the detail, and usually you have to set up the header, footer, and the body content details. Okay, so you could see in my setup here, the default setup here, I have more details lines, and I have the header, footer, and the details. And then you have to do the field mapping and make sure you select the EFT file, the statement file you're gonna upload to your bank. The EFT file you're gonna upload to your bank, and then map it to the table field, and select the right code unit. Okay, so that's just to use this default one as example. So use this CA EFT default one as example, and go back to our bank account. So after you set up this payment export format, and you have to set up the ePay export file name. So this is your EFT file name, and then last ePay file creation number. So this you set up the initial creation number, then it will increase by 1 every time, and the client number. So I'm just and also the client name and the transit number. So I'm just putting something. So right now I just put in something like in for test. So it's not the real account information. Just for the testing purpose, you can put something there. Okay, so after you set that up, then we set up the Wonder bank account, and when we set up our bank account, our company bank account, also you have to go to your company information and make sure you have the federal ID number set up here. So I also put something like for the testing purpose. It can be anything here. And after you set these up, then you can create a purchase order with the Wonder you just set up, and we can do some testing. So that's just create a purchase order for that Wonder. So we set up that Wonder 20,000. So this is the Wonder we set up with the Wonder bank account information. Just say test 2010-21. And so we're gonna put in some items. Okay, and then let's post it. Okay, so now we can go to our payment journal, and we can run the suggest vendor here. So case I was using, so this is a demo company, I was using February 2nd. So usually the payment term may be over 30 days. So I can use March 3rd, 2021. So I can run this. And oh, another thing I want to talk about is this batch. So in the batch here, we have to make sure in order to use the EFT, the batch we are using, so we are using this bank, WWB operating, and we have to make sure we have to check this allow payment export checkbox. Okay, so then we run the suggest vendor payments, then everything looks good, and we just putting a starting document number. We just say test 2019-01. Okay, so then we are running for this. So we are running for this vendor because this is the vendor we're trying to test. Okay. Okay, so we have one entry created for the purchase order we just did. And so the first line is the empty line, we can delete this. And then after we did this, then you could see on the top, we have the export payments to file. Then we have the void, all these options, but we can now use the transmit because the transmit is working together with the EMC bank data conversion service by default for the latest version of Business Central. Okay, so we are talking about Business Central. For the very early version of NAV, for the EFT, you can use export payments to file, void, and transmit. So it's working differently now. So this transmit is working with the EMC bank data conversion service now. And this generate EFT file is working for the EFT. Okay, so first step, after we created this payment journal line, we have to export payments to file. So then if there's any error, you have to resolve it. So let's see what error it says. Oh, so we missed one step here. So we have to enter the bank payment type, make sure it has electronic payment selected. Then we have to export this. And when you see this window, so everything looks fine. So you can select email or you can select PDF. If you select email, then it's using the document layout on the vendor card. So let me explain what's that. So on the vendor card of this vendor number 20,000, then if you go to navigate and go to document layouts, so you have to set up for the vendor remittance. So what report you want to use in order for that email function in the payment journal from that export payment file to work to email the notification to vendors. Journal and remittance advice entry. Let me do this. Okay, so let's select this journal one and send to email. We have to enter an email for it to be sent to. Use for email body. Okay, so there's nothing we can use for email body, then that's fine. We just uncheck this box. Okay, so then it's fine. So if we already set up that document layout, when we export the payment, when we export payments to file, then we can just select the option email. Then it will use that default setting from the document layout. And we're gonna click on OK. To send an email, you must set up SMTP. So yes, so there's actual setup steps we have to make. We have to, in order for it to be able to email automatically, so we have to set up this. Then so I'm just taking our SMTP mail setup information. to find the server. Okay, so we have to use this server and use the port 587. And so here we have to select basic. Then we can test the email to see if it can send out the email successfully. Okay, so I did receive an email. So this is good. And then we can try the email function. So now we can go to the payment journal and then we can export and select the email option here. So that error is related to the report selection. The document layout report number is not using the correct report number. So that's why it tells you no data exists in the report filter. So we're gonna deal with this data. So we're gonna use the PDF output option for now, and then we'll come back to this topic later. Select export payments to file, then we can select the option PDF. Then click on OK. Then it will ask you to save it somewhere. So that's just save it to my download folder. Then it's generating the file. Then we can check that file from my download folder here. Okay, so we do see there's a file saved here and the time is 4:44. So now it's 4:45. Then let's open this file. Then it should be this amount, okay? 20,001. So that's exactly the amount I have here. After you export the payments to file, then you can generate the file, generate the EFT file. So let's see you have this line generated. So let's say you have different vendors and you have different general journal lines listed here. So each line, you will see each line will be listed under the generate EFT files. So it will summarize by vendor. Depends on when you suggest vendor. If you select when you suggest vendor payment, if you select summarize per vendor, then for the same vendor you only have one line. You won't have multiple lines for the same vendor. So it depends on that setup. When you generate EFT file, then you could see like the lines are listed here by vendor. Okay, so now after you got this screen, you do not click on OK, because when you click on OK, you will close this window. You go to Actions, then click on Generate EFT Files, then select your folders to save the file. Let's put it in the download folder as well. So you see that file is generated, it's gone. So let's go to this folder and double check. Then I have this EFT02, this file just generated at 4:46 right now. Let's open it with Notepad, then you can see this transaction. So it's for this vendor 20,000, then the amount is $2,000.01. Okay, so that's the EFT process, and you can also so then you can post this payment journal. So what this generate EFT file does, it will including export file, then transmit it and transmit it. So you don't need to do the transmit anymore, but you have to upload this EFT file to your bank's online banking, to your bank's site for the bank to deduct money from your bank account. And then you can post this payment journal. Okay, so it's being posted successfully. So another thing is like after you export payment to file, then in the pop-up window, except for the export format as PDF, you can select the email. If you select email, then it's gonna use the document layout on your vendor card. So let's do another example for that. So let's see for this vendor, for this same vendor, 20,000, I'm gonna create another purchase order. And then, so this time, okay, so I'm going back to my payment journal and suggest vendor, so I can keep everything here. All looks good. And for this vendor, oh, I need to put a starting document number. So this starting document number, EFT 001. Okay, so this line generated, there's an empty line, we can delete this. And so this line generated, so before, then when you do, before you export payments to file, then you have to make sure the bank payment type is selected as electronic payment. And then you can export payments to file. And from here, so we're gonna use the email. No data exists for the specified report filter. So the data report selection purchase. Let's take a look at the remittance. It's using the report 10083, export electronic payments. 10083. So on our vendor card, we have the wrong report number selected. Okay, so now it should be fine. Now let's go to our payment journal again. And let's export to file. Then let's select email. So I did receive an email notification. Okay, that's great. So because it's using the document layout on your vendor card and because we select, when we export the file, we selected email, so then it's gonna send me the email payment advice at that time. So then if you select the export, remember when you select this and when you select this export payments to file and the document type, if you select the email instead of PDF, then it will send the payment advice at the same time. So this is more automated. Then the other way, like you have to do it separately, you export it as a PDF, then you have to send the payment, you have to send the payment advice separately with that send payment functionality, with send remittance advice function. So that way you have to do it separately, but this way we can just do it in one step. And then after you did this, so if there's anything wrong, you can still void it, but after you confirm, after you generate the EFT file, then you cannot reverse any lines anymore. Okay. So let's say if everything looks good, then after you export, next step is generate EFT file. So this is for you to upload to the bank. The first step is to generate the PDF payment advice to send to your vendor. And this step is to generate the EFT file to upload to your bank, online banking, to your bank. Okay, so then remember we go to actions and click on generate EFT file and save it in the folder. And after it's generated, we can click on OK. then we can, so there's no next step because this step will do the transmit. And then we can just post this. We can upload that file generated to our bank. So you will have EFT3 generated. So we can upload this to our bank account and then post this payment journal line. Okay, so I think that's everything I want to share today. Thank you for joining this session today. I hope to see you guys again next time.